Eh. Oh, that's good. What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Ray, your friendly neighborhood beardsman, and today, guys, we will be talking about 5 things to know when handling a knife. 5 of my safety tips for handling a knife. I know, sounds ridiculous at times, but it must be known, it must be said, and it must be heard. So, without further ado, that and much more after this intro. So before we even get started, if you like my past videos or this video, don't forget to smash that thumbs up button and also consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. So what we're going to start doing from now until as many videos as we can, we're going to start this new thing called the picture of the week. So a lot of us who are into EDC know that there's a lot of people out there to do product photography of their EDC or any other EDC that is brought to them. So this week's photo of the week was brought to you by Toil and Recoil. He is an amazing photographer on Instagram that takes pictures of EDC products. Occasionally, he does a couple of giveaways. So go ahead and make sure to show your love and support by liking his picture or following him on Instagram as well. I will be leaving his link in the description below, as well as mine too, so you can show me a little bit of love and support. It's up to you guys. But yeah, you guys, this week's picture was brought to you by Toil and Recoil. Amazing photographer. Go check him out. Amazing picture, as you can see here. So without further ado, let's get started. Nowadays, there's a lot of people who carry knives with them, let it be because of the EDC world or because they just like carrying a knife with them because it's nice. But a lot of people don't understand that along with carrying a knife with them comes a lot of responsibility, a lot of safety responsibility that they have to carry along with that knife. So I thought I'd make this video so for those that don't know the responsibilities or the safety that comes with carrying a knife, they can see this video and be knowledgeable when it comes to carrying a knife. So for my very first safety tip when carrying a knife, it is going to be always carry a sharp knife. When carrying a knife, you want to make sure that you carry a sharp knife other than a dull knife. A dull knife will always be much more dangerous than a sharp knife. Why? Because when it comes to a sharp knife, when you're cutting something, let's say you're trying to cut a strap, right? A sharp knife will cut through it easily. Other than a dull knife, you're going to be there hesitating, and once that thing pops, you can either cut yourself or cut the person right next to you. So it's very important to always carry a sharp knife other than a dull knife. My second tip, it is going to be always carry a clean knife. Now, the reason I say this is because when you carry a knife that is rusty or full of gunk and you do end up cutting someone or yourself, you're more prone to get an infection other than cutting yourself with a clean knife. So you want to make sure that you always carry a clean knife, and if you don't have a clean knife, make sure you clean it so that worst case scenario, you do cut someone or you do cut yourself, God willing that never happens, you make sure that the possibility or the risk of getting infected is much more lower than carrying an unclean, rusted, full of gunk knife. That's just disgusting. My third safety tip when carrying a knife is going to be always cut outward rather than inward. I'm pretty sure a lot of you who work in places that require you to cut boxes or to handle knives, I'm pretty sure you hear this always. It's always better to cut outward than cut inward. Why? Because when you cut inward, you're running the risk of cutting yourself, you know, any body parts, and your hand as well. I've seen it before where a person, I'm not gonna say names, I'm not gonna say business or anything, but a coworker of mine did cut themselves by cutting inward. You know, they were trying to cut a strap, that strap popped. Again, you always want to cut with a sharper knife, because when you do cut with a dull knife, you're running the possibility of that strap or whatever you're cutting to pop, and with that force, that force you're using, you know, you're gonna cut yourself. So that person did cut themselves from the palm all the way to the arm, and now they do suffer of a nerve damage in the arm where they can't, you know, fiddle with their hand anymore, and now they're just barely being able to use their hand like before. So it's always better to cut outward than inward. And also consider, when you're cutting outward, make sure that there's no one near you, because if you do cut outward and whatever you're cutting pops or whatnot, you want to make sure that no one is within that striking range when you're cutting. So remember, always cut outward, never inward. And if you do cut outward, make sure that no one's in your striking range. Tip number 4 is going to be never, I repeat, never ever catch a falling knife. Let it fall. You never know what's gonna happen if you try to catch a falling knife. It might not cut you, but you're also running the risk that it might cut you, and you can cut either an artery, a vein, or even if it's a small cut, it's still a cut. You're still risking for that cut to be either infected or anything like that. So remember, make sure that you never ever catch a ice. Give me some ice. Oh my god, why do I do these videos? Anyways, all joking aside, you never ever want to catch a falling knife. You never know where that blade's gonna end up, whether it be on your hand or your foot, anywhere. Make sure that that blade hits the floor, and even if that knife costs you a lot, I'm pretty sure that those knives have warranty, so just let them fall, let them break. It's better for that knife to break than for you to lose something. So always remember, a knife is not going to be worth more than a life. So food for thought. And last but not least, always use your dominant hand to deal with knives other than your non-dominant hand. Why? Because you're going to have more control with your dominant hand and more strength with your dominant hand than with your non-dominant hand. Example, for me to open and close this knife, it is much more easier with my right hand, which is my dominant hand, than with my non-dominant hand. See how I struggle? So you always want to make sure that you use your dominant hand, especially when cutting. That way it's much more easier and much more safer than with your non-dominant hand. Those were my top 5 safety tips when dealing with knives. I hope you guys like this video, and if you do, don't forget to smash that thumbs up, and also, like I said in the beginning, consider subscribing to the channel. And if you think that someone needs to hear this, go ahead and share this video to that person, or to anyone that needs to be taught what it means to handle a knife. Again, you guys, thank you so much. May God bless every single one of you, and remember, stay safe, stay COVID safe, stay humble, and overall, stay bearded. May God bless. Till next time.